MMA Boxing Talk here. I want to make this video to thank all of my subscribers. Um, I checked today and have 300 subscribers. So I just thought, might as well make a video thanking all of them. I do appreciate you guys, your subscription, and I don't always have the time to put out a lot of content, but I um, I normally talk about the things that I'm passionate about and the things that I'm you know, invested in. But without you guys, it wouldn't really be worth it. I think I've had the channel for about a year and a half. I started in January of 2000, or yeah, January of 2016. So it's pretty well exactly a year and a half. Um, 300 subscribers. I'm pretty well. I've kept the same pace since the beginning. Um, Collecting subscribers here and there. I never did it to get big. It was more of just a hobby, something that I really enjoy talking about. And to be quite honest, a big part of my channel in the beginning was just to, instead of blabbering to my friends, my buddies that weren't really that into MMA. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And instead of going on and on about it to them, made my own channel. You meet contacts through Twitter and Instagram and through YouTube comments. Um, and you get to have dialogue with fans and you get to debate things, and it's fun. So that's kind of why I made the channel. Definitely enjoying it. I'll always, I think, put out videos here and there. But also just wanted to talk about, some hot topics in the world of combat sports. I got a couple subjects I want to talk about. For one, the rumors going around that Stipe Miocic is going to fight Cain Velasquez in October, which would be UFC 216, October 7th. It's in Vegas. It was breaking news, not official, but some reports were coming out that it was breaking news. Nothing's been signed. Ariel Helwani put out a article this morning or last night. The fact that apparently Stipe's team said that Stipe's not fighting until he gets his contract figured out. He doesn't feel that it's fair that Stipe's last two opponents, Overeem and Junior Dos Santos, made more money than he did, and he stopped them both in the first round. This is according to Stipe Miocic's team. They're the ones that said, his last two opponents have made more money than him. And I looked into it, and they're actually wrong. Overeem did make more than Stipe at UFC 203. I believe Overeem made 800,000. Stipe made 600,000. But this past May, UFC 211, which was Stipe's last opponent, Junior Dos Santos did not make more money than him. Um, Stipe made 690,000, and Junior Dos Santos made 430,000. So Overeem did make more money. But Junior Dos Santos did not make more money than Stipe Miocic. So I'm not sure what's going to happen here. Obviously, Stipe was upset after the Overeem fight, and he said that he wouldn't fight unless he got compensated for the next one. And we all thought that he did because he was happy and he took the fight. But obviously, he made pretty well the same amount. Um, but he did not make more than Junior Dos Santos. So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I hope the UFC just makes the fight, does what they have to make that fight. And I think the UFC is in a spot right now where they do need that fight for October because the September card's pretty well set. You have Nunez and Shevchenko. They're gonna fight, and also you have JDS and in Francis Ngannou. So they don't really have to add a whole lot more to that card. And the November card is going to be stacked apparently. So October needs something big, and you could easily build around a Stipe versus Cain Velasquez main event. That pretty well that sells the card itself right there. So I think it'll get done, but yeah, I mean, I don't know how much more Stipe is going to get. He's already getting paid 600,000 or so to fight. So I really don't think he's going to get a whole lot more. But I can see it from Stipe's side. He's about to, if he beats Kane, he breaks the record. He wants to get compensated, but that's the type of thing that happens after you beat the record, I think. So we'll see what happens. But if Stipe can get past Cain Velasquez, he you could make a strong case that he's the greatest UFC heavyweight champion and the best heavyweight in MMA history as well. You could make that debate, but um, then he could get some real serious money, breaking the record, beating all guys like Kane, Junior, Overeem, Doom. I mean, if he beats Kane, he's just clearing out that division, and then the only guy that's really left is Francis Ngannou. But of course, he has to get past JDS, which is not going to be easy. That's going to be an exciting fight, a great stand-up boxing match that'll end up being. I also want to talk about Brock Lesnar. There's rumors that he's coming back, but he hasn't started USADA testing. So unless they're going to give him a therapeutic use exemption like they did against Mark Hunt, and they basically let him fight without being, tested by the protocol 4 months in advance. You're supposed to be tested 4 months in advance before a fight, and that did not happen at UFC 200 for Brock Lesnar. So unless the UFC is going to give him another exemption, Brock Lesnar is not going to be fighting anytime soon because he hasn't started USADA yet. Another thing, OKC Commission denies Michael Chiesa of his appeal. Michael Chiesa was appealing his loss to Kevin Lee, and the OKC Commission has denied it. So that's going to be a good win for Kevin Lee. And he did sink the choke. There was 27 seconds left, and the choke was sunk. So I know there was a lot of debate about that. I don't really see the debate. I can see why maybe Cass is upset, but 27 seconds left. The choke was sunk. I think he had, and I mean this is in the first round, so that's a great win by Kevin Lee. No one should take that away from him. It'll be curious to see who he fights next. He wants to fight. Sounds like he's going to fight in December on the Detroit card, which is a pay-per-view apparently. The day before which would be December 1st, is the day before, would be the Tough 26 finale between Alvarez and Gaethje. The next day would be that Detroit pay-per-view. So interesting stuff there. I'd like to see Kevin Lee fight Barboza. I don't know if he's ready for that, but Kevin Lee's had 10 fights in the UFC. He's coming off of 2 good wins, so let's see what he could do with Barboza. I also heard a rumor maybe Barboza versus Poirier, because Poirier should have got Alvarez. That rematch should have happened. So I would, I don't know. But another thing I want to talk about is, of course, Mayweather McGregor. Their press tour ended last week. It was crazy. Not really. A little bit over the top, obviously. Some of it was a lot over the top. But, Conor had some good zings in there. Floyd really showing his age. Not too clever. Not too witty. But, it was entertaining, but at the same time, it was a fucking farce. Mixed feelings about that. I'm glad that's over, and then the talk gets kind of died down. I think we're 5 weeks out, a little less than 5 weeks out, so it's really not far away. I'm sure in 2-3 weeks from now, the talks are really going to heat up. Once the I mean, I'll be happy when this whole fight's done and over with. I guess it's good exposure for boxing and MMA, but I mean, it really is a money grab. Unless the fight happens to be entertaining, which would be awesome. But I just don't know if that's realistic. That's a fight that Floyd is supposed to go in there and toy with him. Anything less than having his way with Conor McGregor is not going to look good. because Connors has 0 pro fights. But the fact of the matter is, people talk like, a lot of these boxing heads talk like Connors never boxed a day in his life. Connors' background, his what he excels at is boxing. That's something that he's been doing since he was a kid, and obviously he hasn't put in the time Floyd Mayweather has. Um, Even if he was his age, because he has so many other aspects of MMA he has to work on. But Connor is he's a boxer primarily, um, and he's a southpaw. He's young. He has all the intangibles. The only thing Floyd has going in his favor is experience at the pro level, you know. Um, and we're talking about one of the greatest fighters in this era. I mean, I bash Floyd a lot, but the fact of the matter is he's very, very skilled, especially defensively. He's a defensive wizard, but at the same time, he picked his fights. He was smart, You could call it smart, you could call it coward, because fighting guys that have solid names is one thing, but fighting guys with solid names when they're not at their best, when you wait a year or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, like the Pacquiao situation, when you wait long enough until they're out of their prime, and you're a solid defensive fighter as it is, that's all Floyd needs to win. And he has the judges on his side. He's the A side, so he just needs to squeak out wins, and he'll get the decision. Um, but he never took the tough fights when the fans wanted to see the fights happen. He fought Shane Mosley in 2010. He could have easily fought him 10 years earlier at lightweight, or but Mayweather, he took his time. He didn't move up to lightweight until Sugar Shane Mosley was gone out of that division. So little things like that. But Conor has a puncher's chance. It's not a very good chance, but he does have a puncher's chance. You never know. The awkwardness. Floyd has seen so many boxers, but so many boxers are not like Conor McGregor. He moves different. His timing's very good. But I do see, he has to put him away to win. So I don't know if Conor has enough to put Floyd away. But we're gonna find out. And that the bottom line is, a lot of people are shitting on this fight, including myself. But at the end of the day, it is kind of cool to see someone, take a crack at beating the odds. Because really, Conor shouldn't be in this fight. So we're gonna see if Conor can beat the odds, but the odds are very steep against Conor McGregor in this one. So we'll see what happens. That's it for this one, though. I just wanted to, put out a video thanking my 300 subscribers, and lots more to come. Stay tuned. If you like the video, subscribe. Also, check me out on Twitter at MMA Boxing Talk 1. Peace.